Okay, so we are going to solve word problems for quadratic. Okay, so far we have learned the vertex form, we have learned the factors form, and we have learned the standard form. And we know what we can get from each one of them. Okay, so always you're going to ask yourself the question, what is the word problem asking me to solve for? Is it asking me to find the zeros? Is it asking me to find the y-intercept? Is it asking me to find the maximum point? What is it asking me to find? Okay? So let's look at the first question. So the profit of a chocolate bar can be modeled by the equation P equals negative 0.3 n minus 7 squared plus 10.8, where P is the profit in thousands of dollars and n is the number of chocolates sold in thousands. What is the coordinate of the vertex, and explain what it represents?
Coordinate of the vertex.
Yeah.
Would it be 7 and 10.8?
7 and 10.8, that's correct. Okay? So the vertex, remember this is in vertex form, right? Where you have a x minus h squared plus k, right? So the h and the k, this is your vertex. So the vertex is 7 and 10.8. Now the question is asking you, what does it represent? What does the 7 represent?
The x value?
The x value, which is what? Or the n value in this case? Which is what?
Chocolates?
The number of chocolates.
Yes.
How many? So is that 7 chocolate or
7,000.
7,000? Because it's the number of chocolates in thousands, right? So the 7 is actually 7,000. Okay? So this represents 7,000 chocolate bar sold. And the 10.8 is
The money.
the profit,
Yeah.
right? So the profit that you're making, but you have to multiply that by 1,000 as well. Okay? So for a profit of $10,800. Are you guys okay with this? Okay. Now, the second part of the question is asking you, what is the y-intercept or the p-intercept? Okay, because in this case, instead of using the letter y, we're using the letter p.
Is it 10.8? No?
No, because remember that this is my maximum value, right? This is my maximum profit that I'm making. I have to convert it to standard form. And why did you pick standard? Because that gives you the y-intercept. Remember that in the standard form, the letter C is the y-intercept, right? So that's one way that I can solve this problem, okay? So I can convert the vertex form into standard form by expanding. Okay, so let's do that. I'm gonna show you 2 ways that you can solve this. You guys get to pick whichever way you want. You should know both of them, but whatever is more comfortable for you. Yep.
Why wouldn't it be factored form?
Because what does the factors form give us? The zeros, the x-intercept. Okay, and we're looking for the y-intercept. Okay? So, let's expand so we can get the standard form. Remember what I'm expanding, I have to write it like that. And I have to fold. after foiling, I have to multiply by the negative 0.3. Okay, so the first step is I foiled the n minus 7 times n minus 7, and it gave me n squared minus 7n minus 7n plus 49. And then I distribute the negative 0.3 in, multiplying by negative 0.3, and this is what I have. My last step is to collect like terms. So I can collect the two middle terms, which is plus 4.2n. And then negative 3 point, no. So what's your y-intercept or b-intercept? Negative 3.9. What does that represent? It's not the minimum.
Isn't that the maximum?
So let me show you here, okay? So far I know that negative 3.9, right? And I know that 7, I have 10 point. So far I know this. Right?
So you convert to vertex form now?
I haven't converted anything, right? I converted it to standard form. This is
Oh,
the standard,
okay.
right? So far I know this. So what does that negative 3.9 tell me? Yes, so that's my profit when I sell how many chocolate bars? 0 chocolate bars. So if I sell 0 chocolate bars, I am going to be paying from my own pocket, right? $3,900, right? Because basically I'm losing $3,900. Okay? So the p-intercept or the y-intercept is negative 3 point. Is negative 3.9. Okay? Now what does it represent? It represents that when 0 chocolate bar is sold, the profit is a loss of $3,900. And you guys know where I got the $3,900 from? It's 3.9 times 1,000, right? 3.9 times 1,000, that's $3,900. Are we okay with that? So basically, anytime they're asking you for the y-intercept, you can plug in 0 for x. Okay? Because remember, this is when I have 0 chocolate bars sold. Right? So that means my n is 0. So I could have right away plugged in 0 for n and found the answer using my calculator, or I could have changed it from vertex to standard and I found it this way. Okay? So there's 2 ways that you can solve this. You can put it in standard form, or you can plug in 0 for n and find the answer. Are we okay with this? Oh. convert it to factored, right? Because factored form is the one that gives me the zeros. Okay? So to convert to factored, I have to go to the standard. I can't go from the vertex because I don't know how to do that. Okay? So we have to start from the standard form. We have to go to the factors. So, what's the first question that you asked yourself? Greatest common factor, right? For you guys, remember that the A value, which is right here, should be 1, okay? So 90% of the time, if you can factor this, 90% of the time, the A value is going to be your factor, okay? So that means you can divide 4.2 by negative 0.3 and 3.9 by negative 0.3. Can you check for me? Can you check if 4.2 is divisible by 0.3? What do you get? 14? Yeah. How about 3.9? It's divisible by 0.3? Should be 29. 13?
Yeah.
8. Yeah.
Wait, what do you want to know now?
Okay. So we're trying to factor.
Yeah, so
Okay. So let's look at this. So the greatest common factor is negative 0.39.
Yeah.
Okay. So I can divide each term by negative 0.39. 0.3. Okay, so my first step was to take out the negative 0.3 as a factor. Minus 20 minus 14n, and then minus
plus 13.
plus 13. So I'm looking for two numbers that multiply to what and add to what?
13 and 14.
Multiply to 13 and add to negative 14, right? Add to negative 14. B is negative and C is positive. And what? And negative 1.
Sorry.
Because both of them have to be negative, right? So it's negative 13 and negative 1. Are we okay with this? So what are my zeros? 13 and 1, right? 13 and 1. So let's look at it this way. So 13 and 1 are the number of chocolate bars sold to make what profit? I'm gonna draw it for you here. So 13 and 1 are the number of chocolate bars sold to make what profit? What's the profit right here?
0?
0. Right? So if I sell 1,000 chocolate bars or 13,000 chocolate bars, I'm gonna make a profit of 0. Anything between 1,000 and 13,000 is gonna make me plus profit, so it's gonna make me some money, right? Anything below 1,000 or greater than 1,000 is gonna make 13,000. Sorry, is gonna make me negative profit. Okay. So this means 13,000 and 1,000 chocolate bar. I should say selling first. So selling 13,000 and 1,000 chocolate bar will result in 0 profit. Okay, 90% of the time, the questions are going to be similar to this question, okay? Where they're going to ask you, what is your optimal profit?
Optimal profit
Yeah,
would be 10.8.
10.8, which is 10,800, right? What is your, how many chocolate bars do you have to sell to make that optimal profit? 7,000. So you're looking at that vertex point, right? What's your break-even points?
Break even point.
13,000 and 1,000, right? So you have to first sell 13,000 chocolate bar and 1,000 chocolate bar to break even. Break even means make no money, okay? No lose. No make, no lose, okay? And then usually what's your initial profit? It will be your y-intercept, okay? So the questions are gonna be always the same, okay? Different situations, same kind of questions. Okay? So let's look at some things that we have to look at when we're looking at work. So first thing, it probably helps to sketch a graph to visualize the situation, okay? When we're talking about a soccer ball, or when we're talking about a profit, right? Always sketch it to see, kind of understand what's going on, okay? What's the question is asking you, okay? You'll see me when I'm trying to solve these problems and when I'm trying to show you the situation, I do graph it. I do graph the quadrant. We know it's going to be a quadratic function, okay? So if I look back here and I look at this, right? I know what my vertex is. And I know that opening which way?
Down.
Down, because A is negative, right? So you already know two important information that kind of help you sketch, okay? You know where the vertex is, and you know it's opening down. So sketch it. Wrong, right? It doesn't matter, sketch it, okay? It will help you to visualize the situation. Then consider the key features related to the context of the problem. Okay? Remember that the key features are the following: the y-intercept, the x-intercept, the optimal value, the axis of symmetry, right? And the vertex, which is the last two. Okay? It's not going to be any rocket science. It's not going to be anything outside of these 5 key questions. Okay? So, initial point is which one of the 5? Initial point. The y-intercept is when you're starting. Okay? So the initial point is when you're starting, when your x value is 0. That's your initial point. How about the break-even point, or the break-even distance, or the break-even time? By zeros. Okay? So anytime you read the word break-even, that means you're looking at the zeros. Max, min, profit, maximum or minimum height. That's the optimal value. So that's this value right here. Okay? The point at which the max or min occur. It's actually, it's the axis of symmetry, okay? It's the axis of symmetry. It's the part of the vertex. It's part of the vertex. It shouldn't say points here, it should say value. I know why you're saying that, Leo. This should say, technically, it should say the value at which max or minimum occur. Okay. We're just gonna look, we're gonna analyze this question. I'm gonna let you do it. We're just gonna talk about it first. Okay? So the path of a soccer ball can be modeled by the relation h equals negative 0.1 d squared plus 0.5 d plus 0.6, where h is the ball's height and d is the distance, is the horizontal distance from the kicker, both measured in meters. Okay? So if I'm going to graph this, what do I put on my y-axis? What? I know why, yes, the 0.6 is the value, but what letter do I put on my y-axis?
D.
H.
Good, yeah.
H, right? Because remember, this is y, and this is x, right? So this is going to be y, and this is going to be x. So instead of y, I'm going to replace it with h, and instead of x, I'm going to replace it with a d. Okay? So h is your height, and d is the distance from the kicker. Okay? Now, are you okay with that so far? Good. Now, why were you saying 0.6, Leo? What does that 0.6 represent, and where did you get it from? That's your starting point, which is your initial point, right? Which is your y-intercept, right? Because I know that from here. Yeah? So the height of the ball before the player kicks it is 0.6. Good. Now the question is asking you to find the zeros. What form is the equation given to me in? It's instead. What form do I have to put it in to find the zeros?
Oh, no, the other one, factor.
Factor. So I have to factor it. Okay? What's the first question you're going to ask yourself? Greatest common factor, right? Which is going to be negative 0. Okay? So I want you to factor this, find the zeros,